The teacher has said that she saw you.
Allenscroft Primary School in South Birmingham has a higher than average proportion of children on the special needs register, 30% for the whole school. For some classes, the figure is as high as 50% of children with special needs, ranging from emotional behavioural to general learning difficulties. The school prides itself on this inclusive atmosphere, which it achieves by reviewing each child's needs regularly. It's this individual approach to each child which is key to managing the children's behaviour and helping them with their learning. Bradley and Aisha are in Year 2. It's believed they are both on the autistic spectrum.
They've been with us from reception and they're children who would normally be in a special unit. But we wanted to have a go, really, and to bring everybody on board to say this can be done in a mainstream school.
Your science books,
We did feel for those two children they needed a full-time adult support as well. We got some funding, though not all of the funding that you need for the post, but because we were committed to that ethos, we put in the extra funding ourselves, and they have their full-time TA, Joe.
Aisha.
Bradley and Aisha also have a weekly session with Heather Cook from the Communications and Autism team. This is part of inclusion services for Birmingham Local Authority.
I work with children that are either being diagnosed with autism under paediatricians or already diagnosed with autism or have severe communication delay. And our aim is we come in and we train up the teachers and teaching assistants and we pre-tutor what they're doing in the class, so then they have a better ability when it comes to doing it within the classroom environment.
books in a pile, please. Come and sit on the carpet nicely.
As the other children were going to sit on the carpet for registration, Bradley was refusing to move and wouldn't wear his glasses.
Bradley has a thing about his glasses. When he was younger, he used to throw them around the class. He now actually will wear them, but Bradley's very unpredictable. He always pushes the boundaries, but you can bring him back and be, you know, come on Bradley, you're going to do this, and he will do it.
Bradley, if you can sit down here for me, good boy.
Heather's been fantastic because she's been here, yes, to support Bradley and Aisha, but other staff have observed what she does. So actually the influence ripples through the entire school.
What's this? It's a C, good boy.
I think we've gone from a situation where it was, you know, we can't include these children, we can't meet their needs because they're so complex, to actually, wow, what amazing children they are, and look at the benefits for everybody across the school.
Put some sand on our island. Good boy. That's lovely.
So title underlined.
Year 5 has 3 children with very specific needs. Mark and Kyle are on the autistic spectrum, and Dominique has ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Mark responds to any type of work in one of two ways. He tends to be very enthusiastic about it, or if he finds something a bit hard, or he feels he's not achieving, or as he's not learning, then we can get a very negative reaction, which can range from tears and head on desk to semi-serious temper outbursts. It's not subject-based, it just depends.
But some subjects can trigger challenging behaviour with the other children. Their teacher has chosen 3 sentences from the Highwayman poem for the children to pick one and interpret as a picture.
Let that sentence go over in your head a few times and think about the picture that it's conjuring up.
Kyle is on the autistic spectrum and copes very well with maths, where there are definite right answers, but his teacher knew this task would be a particular challenge for him.
Kyle does struggle with artwork, so I knew that he would probably find it quite difficult to be getting things down onto the paper.
Fantastic.
Well, I think maybe the moon is quite a simple thing, isn't it? Because you could have a nice round moon in the middle. He had images in his head that were actually quite complicated and too difficult for him to get down onto paper. So I talked him through trying to simplify the images, trying to take the most simple one, and was quite pleased that he did start to put something down. But then quite quickly he decided he didn't like that, he needed another piece of paper, he needed to start again.
He is a perfectionist, but he's very rigid in his thinking. very rigid, and so you have to be quite careful about seeing where he's going with it and trying to take him down that path so that he's not going to lose it and throw away whatever he's done so far.
Oh, no, it's lovely. Keep going. That's it, and then make it wider and wider now. Yes, look at that, that's perspective.
The teachers give Kyle a lot of extra support to prevent a major outburst.
He can storm around a little bit and isolate himself and then refuse to do anything else. When it gets to that refusal point, there's not really any way of bringing him back.
After lunch, Year 5 start making models, which Mark is happy to do. But Kyle is supported in his decision to keep working on his picture in the corridor, and Dominique wants to leave the class too.
Can I go and help Miss Jackson if you need any help?
Well, you've been really good today, haven't you? Yeah. So go and ask Mrs. Jackson if she'd like any help. But if she doesn't need any help, you'll have to come back. Is that all right?
Yes, I won't moan.
You won't moan? OK, you're a good girl then. Go on then, go and ask Mrs. Jackson. Mrs. Jackson is the TA from last year. She has a very good relationship with Dominique, and we have to be quite careful about monitoring how often she sees her, because she would, if she could, see her every single afternoon.
Although Kyle is missing out on other lessons, the teachers recognise it's important for Kyle to finish this work.
I don't do a lot of drawing. This is the first drawing I've done in ages. My dad will be surprised because this is one of the best things I've ever drawn. This is more lifelike. Craters in the moon.
Yeah. Oh, craters in the moon as well.
Right. It's right.
I can see. Well, that is beautiful, isn't it? Well done, you.
All three children show remarkable self-awareness about their behaviour and even their friends' behaviour. This is all described in a booklet written at the start of each school year.
So these are our All About Me books, and these tell the teachers that come into the classroom, any supply teachers or any other adults, all about you and things that you do like and things that you don't like, and things that they can do to help you.
I'm good at computers and numeracy. If I'm in a good mood, it depends if I want to play on my own or not. And if you're in a grumpy mood, then you'll probably want to play by yourself, won't you? You're always in a grumpy mood. Not all the time.
And Kyle, you don't like changes now, don't you?
Yeah.
But you're getting on better with changes.
Yeah.
I work on my own. I don't feel comfortable working in a group, but now I've got better at working in groups. I don't like it when other children put me down.
No one likes
to
it.
Control my temper.
No one likes that. I would like adults to leave me alone when I'm angry, but also to keep an eye on me. I like walking around with Miss Jackson, talking to her and helping her tidy up.
What about working on your anger and your behaviour? Have you made any progress with that?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example? How have you got better?
Not fighting with this certain girl.
OK, so you think you've got better at that?
Dominique is aware of her anger, and one of the techniques to help her control it is a personalised yoga session.
It's to help them focus, to help them calm down, to help them have a little bit of thinking time, breathing time and space to themselves. It's actively teaching them a strategy that they can use when they do find that they have a problem.
On our second day of filming with Year 5, most of the class were given detention at break time. But Dominique, perhaps because of her ADHD, had other ideas.
Dominique does leave the classroom when she needs to, but I think because we know what her needs are, because we talk about the children together and we've got strategies to look after the children together. So if Dominique is in the corridor, she's usually picked up very quickly. Now listen, we need to talk about this detention. When there's a problem, you have to sort it out, don't you?
Yeah, but I've already told Miss Bucky won't listen.
Nobody likes to miss their break time, and Dominique in that sense is just the same, but of course her reaction is more extreme, and therefore Dominique got herself quite upset, and Mrs. Clifton ended up intervening.
Wasn't very happy, Dominic. Right and right. To your right, to your left.
Wednesday afternoon is Make a Difference afternoon, with a new activity every half term. For autistic children like Mark, this change to their routine can prove to be challenging.
Mark, today, he was on his second week of Bollywood dancing. And Mark didn't cope last week. After about 15-20 minutes, Mark had had enough and removed himself from the room and was not happy about going to do it today. But he did go in and he had a go with children with autism. You've got to make sure that you are asking them to push themselves because, you know, in life there are a lot of changes and it won't be that he does the same thing every single Wednesday afternoon for the rest of his life. So he's got to be able to cope with that change and hopefully as it goes on he'll actually get better and better to the point of, oh yeah, it does change and that's okay.
This week Mark is coping well, but Dominique isn't. Her activity is games in the sports hall.
Now Charlotte's fallen over, she's hurt herself, so what would you normally do?
Say sorry if I knew that I did it.
Okay then.
Well, I didn't.
Okay, the teacher has said that she saw you. Now you thought you didn't do it, okay? But the teacher was watching and she did see it happen. So what could you do now?
Say sorry.
I'm going to say sorry and then we can join the game again, can't you? Good girl.
Within half an hour, Dominique was found upset again in the corridor over another incident.
When children are angry or frustrated, it is absolutely right that they have space and time to think it through, to be reflective, to have time to come down from that.
Now, I'm very happy if you want to come and sit in my room until you calm down and you want to talk about it, that's absolutely fine. But you are not wandering around the corridors. Okay?
Essentially, she wanted to connect in with her TA from last year, which actually I didn't want her to do because we need to break those cycles of dependency because they're not healthy for the child, but they're not particularly healthy, you know, for staff either.
I will leave you alone, but you need to be outside my room where I know that you are safe.
No, I'm fine here. There's no robbers or kidnappers.
Dominique did rejoin her class for the end of the day. Allenscroft children and staff engage in a continual process of learning how best to work with each other to keep the school running smoothly. The secret of managing so many children with complex needs seems to be to prioritise the needs of each child, supporting individuals above anything else rather than expecting them to conform to the needs of the school.
There will be bad times. We know with some of our children, they're really tough sometimes. If they know that they matter to you, they care about letting you down. And I think that's key because then you can say, you've upset me and it matters to them. And then you move on and you always find a way to move on. Tomorrow's another day.